Hi, how are you, students and teachers? This is a tutorial and a current sample of an informative essay from one of my ninth graders. I find it to be rather exceptionally written. It's well written, well organized, good use of transition words, an indication that the student is paying attention. So I am making a tutorial for students so they can get kind of like a think aloud, maybe like an insight on how a teacher thinks when the teacher is grading, just all data driven, informative feedback. So I also want to dedicate this tutorial to new teachers because as a new teacher, you go into the classroom and you could be overwhelmed with the grading of an essay. There's so much to grade. Where do you begin? And so my suggestion for any teacher is to narrow your focus for every essay, or narrow your focus in the grading process. You can give an introduction grade, you can give a body paragraph grade, you can give a counter argument grade, and then you can give a conclusion grade. You don't need to grade the entire essay. 2 sentences gives us a sufficient idea of where our students' literacies are. 3 sentences, and if you want a 4th one, take it. The literature exposes itself. Let's begin. So we have Henry Dobbins, that's the student's name, then you have the professor's name, then you have the course name, and then you have the date, small, larger, largest. I already know that this student adheres to MLA format, that this student is paying attention, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. Already, just for that heading, A+. I'm only gonna look at the introduction for this tutorial, just to keep it focused. Have you ever wondered how small groups of people influence more and more people? In the research I did, it explained how small groups are most likely to influence more people because they have the courage to stand up against others and be independent. With that being said, the passage from Unit 3 of My Perspective influences its readers with its pathos and analogy. I'm not going to look at the grammar. I will do this. I will break down this introduction and its components. I see that it has a hook, a little opening, attention grabber. So there's that question mark. Let's highlight, actually, we want to highlight the whole thing. Let's highlight that blue. I provide my students with a legend so they know the color coding. We can pick it up and slam it. Now, we have background information, and this background information connects the thesis statement and the hook. There's a reason why we opened up with that hook. So we create some rhyme and reason, some rationale for opening up with that hook. Leave it up. Take it off. Now, the student continues with that being said, and now here's the thesis statement. The passage from Unit 3 of My Perspective influences its readers. That's the whole point. So I highlight that, and I tell my students to highlight this color yellow. Continuing. I know that we are going to have 2 focused conversations in the form of body paragraphs. The first focus will be pathos. Highlight that in that fuchsia or purplish type color, and then analogy in that same color. And so I see here the components. We have a hook, we have connecting background information, which joins that seemingly irrelevant hook to segue and connect with that thesis statement. We have our thesis statement in yellow, and we have the supporting arguments in that purple or fuchsia. Why do I do this with my students? I tell my students, highlight your hook in blue. And when a student cannot highlight their hook, their background information, their thesis statement, their supporting arguments, That's the feedback. That's the indication that the student does not know what these parts are. When they do know, it becomes relatively easy to go through this process and piece the puzzle together. This is easy grading. I give an introduction grade. Maybe the following day I can give a body paragraph grade. You workshop the essays with the kids, you give them the feedback, they learn, and then they understand why they're being graded. And maybe you can make each part 20 points, 20, 40, 60, 80. So it'll be 80 points for the introduction, 20 for the hook, 20 for the background information, 20 for the thesis, and 20 for the supporting arguments. Maybe it'll be only 5 points, maybe only 2 points, who knows? It's at your discretion. I hope this tutorial helps. And if you want to continue to learn more about the essay organization, I will be posting more tutorials for the body paragraphs, counter argument, etc. Thank you so much. I hope this was informative.